And make sure you record to the cloud.
Yeah, I did.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to Firebirds Collective presents a Pathways Guided Tour. Before we start, I'd like to remind you, mute or turn off your cell phone. Remember to mute your microphone when you're not talking and turn it back on when you want to speak. If you want to raise your hand electronically, you may do so at the bottom of the participants window. This session will be recorded for educational purposes. We might use video clips and screen captures for PR. If you do not wish to be recorded, turn your camera off, but we would like to see you. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, help me welcome Firebirds Collective Vice President of Education, the Pathways Guide for Undistricted Area O, the fabulous Fabiola Cleofa, live from Curacao, presenting Choose a Path. Fabiola Cleofa.
Thank you so much, Arlene, for being here, even though you are in that moment now that it's not so nice. But our paths, they will cross in different way, and we finally are looking at getting onto pathways in the undistricted clubs also. And that part is one of the things that we need to be prepared for. Usually when we go on a path to seek, we will take our compasses, our maps, and everything. So for us, going on to pathways, which is a complete different educational system, but it gives us a lot of more in-depth experience to work on our development. And today, we are going to have a panel of experience, our new Toastmasters, and a range of experiences to share with us how we can make better profit of the new pathways. First of all, I want to start with one of the Firebirds Collective members that started in pathways way ahead of us. Was impatient to start because it seemed like pathways would be that big of a great revolution. So this member started off 1 year ago into pathways, and yes, influenced a lot of us in Firebirds to also venture out there and look for paths how we can also get into pathways. And today, she will share with us all of her experiences, but most of all, help us to get on with our path that we will be going to choose. So let's welcome Julie, all the way from London. Julie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Wonderful. I am very happy to be with you. It seems that patience is a virtue that I don't have. And that is why I started a year ago and had some experience which I can now share. So they were always useful. Let me begin by sharing my screen. And put somewhere my picture. Can you see me and the slide? Yeah. Yes, okay. So, first of all, welcome to London. That is my path, that is my street. And if you go on this path, you arrive where I met Philip, who was the first president of the club. I am still there. And when you go this way, you go into my home. But it has to do with anything. This is a straight path. But I think most of you know already. If not, I wanted to share with you again. Then there are 10 paths, and you can choose between them. At the beginning, You have to choose even before entering, that is called now base camp, from where everything starts. I have already 6 of these paths. 4 I finished and 2 I continue doing. Every path, and that presentation mastery example, but every path has 5 levels. And I just repeat it very fast. Mastering fundamentals and learning style are both almost the same in every path, doesn't matter which you choose. Then comes increasing your knowledge, building skills, and demonstrating expertise, each of them having a different, what they call required, which you cannot choose. You choose the path and then you get the required down. In this case, in presentation mastery, is prepared to and speak a 15-20 minute speech. So today we will speak about how to select a path. From the beginning, I have to tell you, do not do as I did a year ago. Do as I tell you now, not like I didn't know. So first of all, you have on Basecamp every language, which is, but on the printed material you have only 5, and on non-English you have only 2. The 2 are the presentation mastery and the leadership development. If you go to a program which is called Navigator, which has all about meetings and clubs and is very good for all newcomers, they tell you that elective projects available all in Basecamp, but limited in printed material. That would be good, but it is not true. It is not limited, it is 0. So when you are asked, select online pass or select printed pass, and they point here, take your assessment, they have a right to tell it. Because I did fall into the pothole, I didn't have a printer, and I did buy a printed pass. I wouldn't do it again. I will explain you why. So here is an example, and you should try to find this. There are 10 examples for the 10 paths. That is leadership development. And in white here, in this part, are all the projects which are called required. You cannot choose or not choose them. You have these 2 general, and then 1, 2, 3 here that depends on the path you have chosen. In leadership development, they are planning a meeting, a special meeting, leading your team to a special meeting again. I did it, so I can tell you what is behind the title. And then manage a successful event, a bigger one. Of course, every path begins with icebreaker and finish with reflect on your path. That is not different. So, going nearer, and that is not very nice, but it gives you an example. So these 3 are special to every path. And then you have what is called elective. You have to choose 4 of them. 2 here at level 3, 1 each at level 4 and 5 from a maximum of 27. Understand, you can do all 27 if you want. No one can forbid you. It just doesn't count like number, but you can open them, print them, save them, do whatever you want with all those wonderful electives. If you have a printed pass, you cannot choose anything. So, what you choose, here is a picture from Carol Macro blog, which I copied with her, okay. And how important is to have a mentor who explains what it is the end of each pass. The end of 3 paths are high performance leadership, in effective coaching, innovative planning, and persuasive influence. The end of other 3 paths are 6 months leading a team or being in a team leader. And those are dynamic leadership, team collaboration, and strategic relationship. And the end of other 4 paths are very different. In presentation mastery, a longer presentation. In visionary communication, develop your vision. In leadership development, create a successful bigger event. And in motivation strategy, which I just begin, team building through an event again. So, when you really choose a path, you had to think very seriously which one you want to choose. How did I choose? So before showing you how you go and choose a path practically, I would like to tell you where is my time, how I am in timing.
So now is 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
So I did not know very well what I want. I made, first of all, supposition on the cover. Don't judge by the cover. It means don't choose after the title. And secondly, I did not really know what I wanted. And I thought, I don't want leadership. I want to learn speaking better. And that was not true either, because they are so combined now in every path, leadership with communication, that you don't know exactly. And the title, like leadership development, it didn't develop my leadership. It helped me to create interesting events. So I had to delve more inside to understand. And in order to understand, we have George Marshall hypertext, paths and projects, which we can study if we want. We have also some who made a 6-page explanation and others who made only 4, like Carol or others, 4 lines, just the end, which project, how it ends. So, can I show very fast how to choose a path on Toastmaster International? Fabiola? Thank you. Once you studied and you know what you want to do, you go to log in to the pathway. And that is something someone else will explain in detail, so I not go there. And between the 3 styles, you have choose a path. And first thing they ask you, what language? The language you choose here will be the language of the path also. And then ask you to click on 3 topics. So think a lot before you click here, because after you click here, it depends, all the other questions come after that. And at the end of all the answer you give, fast, because how long can you stay thinking about an answer with a computer there? You have 3 paths proposed to you. In this case, the dynamic leadership, the only one I would choose. And other time, I choose visionary communication. But if you want, you can go under the, here, yes, no. Okay, you can go under and you can choose whatever path you want. So here are my 4 paths, which I begin. Visionary communication I finished in August. The presentation mastery, which I begin printed and then I bought another one. I bought at the same time. I finished only in November. The leadership development I got in August, and in December it was finished, and it was a wondrous part. And the effective coaching I just finished. So questions and answers, if you want to ask me, I am open.
Okay, we have 2 to 3 minutes to for questions to Julie. Anyone that has a question? I do have a question, Julie. You mentioned that only 2 of them are in other languages. Those are all the 8 languages that we have at this moment. No?
No. All the 10 paths are in all the languages you have, unless you want it printed.
Ah, okay, got it.
But only less than 0.5% got printed pass, because if you do it, the VP has 3 times as much work and you don't have choice. So it is better than to ask a friend to print for you, and they will print you what you want, not what is supposed to be there.
Okay, got it.
Yes. Kelly.
Hi, Julia. Thank you. I have 2 questions. First is, we can choose 2 paths or more paths at the same time, and we could do it at the same time, or we need to choose 1 path at one time. Second question is, I took the assessment already. I chose team collaboration as my path, first path, but I don't know how I can find the material. Like when I go to the base camp, they require me to take the assessment again, continue to choose
So
path.
that is something someone else will tell. If not, I will come back to it. Okay. But I can tell you about the first question, because you asked 2 questions. The first question, if you can choose more than 1 path. Yes. A year ago, I was naive. I believed that every club I join, I have to buy a new pass. So I had 3 paths, 3 clubs, and I did 3 icebreakers. I did not know you can give again and again from the same path an icebreaker. And then I learned, when I am about at level 3 from 5, I buy always a new pass. And I begin a new pass, and then I have in different levels, not parallel, icebreaker, feedback, but a different level. Some are very long, take very long, and others very short. So yes, you can do more than 1 pass, even more than 2.
Okay.
But you have to buy it. 1 you get free, And if you are in 2 clubs, you have 2 free. But if not, you have to pay $20 more.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Okay,
Yes.
so our time is up. And at the end, if we do have more time, we will go on to more questions, if you still have some. Our next presenter is Bertie. Bertie just did her icebreaker. She is already on Pathways. And the question came, where do I find my material? I want to do my icebreaker. Where do I go? So let's take it from Bertie, that she will take us through that part. Bertie?
Hi everyone, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an example of a pathway of I chose an example. So let's say that I choose innovative planning. So when you go here, you will see that there are 5 levels. As mentioned before by Julie, that every path has 5 levels. So in the first level, there are 4 things here. And the first one is an icebreaker. So what I will do, I can just click launch. And after I click launch, here a new window will come up. But I will show you how to do it on the Toastmasters website. So I'll just click stop share. And share screen again here. Okay, so now I'm on the Toastmasters website. Okay, can you now see my screen? Okay, so you remember the slide that I showed you before? Once I'm in the right pathway, then I click launch. One of my challenges to start this pathway was to find the right button, because I clicked so many other buttons, like the transcript, the education transcript, and I clicked the project, but it always brought me back to the previous one. So it was frustrating. So it's really important that you really click the right button. So when you go into your pathway, the path that you chose, just click launch. Don't click other buttons. Of course, you can try to click other buttons, but it will just bring you to the same thing. So click launch and then wait for a few seconds. This new window will come up. When I started, I was impatient. It took a while to wait for this window to come up. So in the end, I had to open so many things. So it was a mistake. So when you click launch, just wait for a few seconds. Then this new window will come up. As you can see here, that there's like many things here: navigation, introduction, and your assignment. So this is the list of the things about the project. I will suggest you to just go through the list, or even you can just click the next arrow here. So it will show you on how to navigate the project here. And this is like the project checklist. And every time you want to start a project, you need to sort of assess your skills before. So you have to choose yourself first. I am confident and calm when speaking in front of groups, for example. And just click next. Here you can find a list of competencies that you will learn when you do this project. For example, define communication and leadership goals. Then you can click the next arrow. You will watch a video here. This is very good. I think if you click this, so a video will come up and you can listen to different people. You can listen to different people delivering their icebreakers. So I would suggest you to watch this video because they're really, really good. And click the next arrow again. You will see the icebreaker speech outline worksheet. So you can just download these two. If you click next, you will see what is expected from your first icebreaker. For example, you're expected to have an interesting topic as well as a good structure with the opening, body, and conclusion. If you click next, this is how you're expected to do your icebreaker. You can write it out, remember your outline, and connect with the audience. And just follow through the guidance. Just click next and next. This is like some examples on how to rehearse your presentation. Some things that you can think of, for example, the timing, the pacing, the structure or organization of your speech, the review, and also moment to moment. If you click next again, you can see the guidance on how to do the presentation, how to relax, breathe, and just enjoy your presentation. And this is the evaluation part. You also need to evaluate yourself after the presentation. What do you think about yourself? So this is more like self-assessment. And this is the section where you think about how you can improve yourself better and how you really implement the strategies that you are given by your evaluator. And this one is the project checklist. This one, the evaluation part, is, I think, the most important part. So this is where you find like the evaluation, like in our traditional manual. If you click this one, a new window will come up and you will see how you will be evaluated. If you click print my project, a new window will come up and it will consist about 23 pages of everything that is listed from the beginning, navigation, introduction, excluding the video. And if you click the icebreaker speech outline worksheet, you will see the outline, what you have to do for your speech. So I think the resources part for the evaluation is the most important part. You can't miss this. And this one, after you deliver your speech, you need to go back to Toastmasters website and do a self-assessment. So click before, what do you think after you deliver your speech? Do you feel that you're more confident and calm when speaking in front of groups? And then, once you have finished the self-assessment, then you finish the whole project. And after that, how long do I have still? I'll just stop share here.
So now is 6 minutes and 30 seconds. You have 10 minutes to go. So you still have like 3 minutes.
Four more minutes. Yeah.
Okay, so if I go back here, so basically if I go back to the Toastmasters website, just stop share. Anyway, basically after I delivered my first speech, I get evaluated, and I can just do my self-assessment again online, what I think after I delivered my speech. And because this is an online club, I asked my evaluator, Roberto, to email me the evaluation form. So then after that, I could just attach this evaluation form into my pathway, and it's located in the e-portfolio, or someone can show you how to assess that one. But I think for me now, I have done it, so it's okay now. But the most important thing is to just find, I think, the right button to click. And once you have found it, you become more familiar with it, it will be easier. Any questions?
Yes, before we go on, I'll just, because it did go through it, I want to print out and connect what Julie just said about printed material or online. Here you have seen that even though you are online, you can print those parts that you need, and so you can go through it. One other thing also that Bertie highlighted, by doing the assessment before and doing the assessment after. Those are things also that is part of how you go from one level to the other, but that will come back later on. Are there any other questions? Kelly, did you get your the view now where you have to go to get your projects?
Yeah. I will check it according to the guidance from Bertie. But I do have one question. It's about the evaluation resources. Is it like, because I attended a club here, so I need to print out the evaluation form to my evaluator in the meeting, and then after my evaluator finish, they should upload the filled form online, and so like I could use it as a proof to like finish my speech. Is it correct?
Okay, Bertie, do you have that, or can I take? Do you want me to take it over?
What happened is that I think after you have your evaluation form filled in by your evaluator, you can just upload it yourself in your pathway. Because if you click on your pathway and you click the education transcript, on the top level there is like a tab called e-portfolio, and the e-portfolio is the place where you put all the files or the documents, for example your evaluations. So you click there is like there are different levels. If you just click folder 1, for example, that's for level 1. So you can click your evaluation form and just attach it there. So you basically have that as like the location for all your evaluation forms.
Great. Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Additionally, that indeed is your personal profile, and all your evaluations you can store there. But your first part of your question was, when I am doing a project, do I have to download my evaluation and give it to my evaluator? Here in Firebirds Collective, we are not on pathways yet. So it's very important for you before the meeting to get your evaluations to your evaluator. The other thing, when all of us are on pathways, any person can go into their own base camp, and there is generic resources for evaluations. And if that person happened to be in the same path that you are doing, they can access that evaluation too. But to be more proactive, it is always best to connect with your evaluator if you know who your evaluator is beforehand, to give them your evaluation. All of the evaluation forms kind of look alike, but it does have the objectives of each path that you are in, especially at level 3 and on. So it is best for you to provide your evaluation sheet to your evaluator.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in you as in your base camp, you can ask also for other members in the club to give you additional evaluation, but it has to be the club that you are logged in at that moment. Later on, that will come back, but it's a little bit more complicated. But in any case, you can get more evaluations than only your assigned evaluator in the club meeting. Any other question?
Can I have a question?
Yes, go ahead.
For example, I am a member of 2 clubs. Let's say I have chosen 2 pathways. Can I, for example, choose any of those 2 pathways in 2 clubs? Or for example, can I just use one pathway in one club and the other pathway is always to that other club?
No.
Or is it exchangeable?
It is exchangeable. Presenting, you can present in any of the clubs. It's when you are going to get your level approved, you have to be conscious which club you are signed in at that moment. And also you need to be aware that if you ask other members to give you an evaluation, for instance, you are presenting in one path in Firebirds Collective, but you're signed in with the other club in your base camp. If you ask members of Firebirds Collective to give you feedback, they will not find your name in their base camp. So that part you need to be clear on.
Okay.
But giving presentation, whatever club, you can do that. And that's why it's also important for you to provide your evaluation sheets to any evaluator that you're going to present to. Okay, how long, how are we doing on time? And do we have other questions? Oh, Oladale has a question. Oladale, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Fabiola. Yeah. Mine is a little contribution based on what Bertie asked. It's just another addition. Bertie, you're also at liberty to choose which club you allow to benefit whichever award you achieve. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can choose all you do, the parts are yours. The awards you achieve are yours. So if you belong to more than one club, you can choose which club. In case a club is chasing DCP, and maybe they need a particular award, you can choose which of the awards you've achieved, which club you want to designate it to, just to help that club move. But all of your own awards and report, your evaluation and all that will be in your own database. And as Fabiola said, if you're waiting for a particular award to be given to you from international, the club you want to receive the award must be the club you click in your base camp when you're logging on, so that the notification of the award will go to the Vice President Education, who is the base camp manager for that club, and there is no confusion. I hope that helps. Fabiola, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Aladala. Indeed, that is one of the things that we need to take into consideration, but I think at the end, it will come back also in my presentation. For now, we are going to our next panelist, and our next panelist is Krishn from Mauritius. And Krishn is also a pathway guide for districted clubs. And Krishn is going to take us to another part of the on our journey, so to enlighten us. Krishn, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam VP. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? All excited to be on Pathways? Show me your excitement. Way! Oh my God, everyone just asleep. Raise your hand. Who here is completely new to Pathways? Who here has just been writing down questions and answers? Everyone new to Pathways, raise your hand. Ah, great. So I'm going to be able to help you people. And for those who are already on Pathways, I hope it's a refresher. Madam Timer, I've got my own timing device, so no need to worry about me. We've heard about how to get started with Pathways. We've heard about how to start our icebreaker. And then as we start to work on our browser, things don't turn out like we want them to do they? We often have something called an incompatibility issue with technical aspect of the laptop or the MacBook. I'm going to just share my screen and show you what I mean. Maybe just like me, some of you are addicted to using Chrome, Google Chrome, instead of using Mozilla or Internet Explorer. What do you see right now? Just let me know. Give me a sign if you see my screen, because I've just shared it. Everyone seeing my screen? Great. So what we have right now is me accessing Pathways. I've already logged in via Google Chrome. And the recommendation is once we are logged in, we go to Pathways, We click on it, and then we go to Basecamp. We get to this window, and like a couple of members have taken up before, bless you, my friend. Like a couple of members have mentioned before, if we want to choose which club we're going to do our presentation at, we can come here and go and select the club. Right now, I have Emperor's Mandarin Toastmasters and Royal Road Toastmasters, which are the two clubs under Pathways to which I'm a member of. So I click Royal Roads, I log in as a member, and if my internet connection speed allows me, I go to the next window, which you see is loading, and I get to this one. And here, it's actually prompting me to take a tour. And that's the first thing that we should do. We have online Pathways guide, we have the FAQ, but remember the take a tour option is always there. So I'm just going to close this and I start it again. You have here on the right top side of your screen, this button, take a tour. And if you click it, you have tips that just pops down or pops up. Find resources and people just gives you a description, how to use the search bar. If I click next, what is navigating Basecamp about? I click next. My transcript, select to access your transcript. This is where you will find your path, the navigator, and resources you have selected. If you haven't yet chosen your path, take the Pathways assessment. I click next. My feedback, select to access your feedback page. Next. So my recommendation here, just take the time to take a tour, and you can take it at least 2 times. I've taken it 4 times. I still look forward to taking it. Again, the next item here that I strictly recommend you to check, and that's why I use Google Chrome to access Pathways the first time, is check compatibility. You just take your cursor, put it on check compatibility. You have a drop down. Check compatibility in white, you click on it, and you go to this window. Question. We have 8 items: operating system, browser, screen resolution, cookies, PDF reader, pop-up blockers, color depth, and JavaScript. If my browser was fully compatible with the Pathways platform, I should have a red tick everywhere. Do I have not a red tick, but a green tick? I apologize. I'm getting colorblind at this time of the evening. So do I see 8 green ticks, or there's one triangle with an exclamation mark somewhere? Anyone can help me? There's something here.
Pop-up blocker.
Exactly, because I have so much traffic going through my Chrome browser that I had decided to put up a month ago a pop-up blocker, and I forgot about it. So I don't want to bring down my pop-up blocker in Chrome. I don't want to modify it only for Pathways Toastmaster. What I've decided to do, I'm going to close my Chrome. I'm going to use Internet Explorer instead. And if I can go to my Internet Explorer, it's here. And here again, I come and I check compatibility. By the way, I just tested. You can log in twice in 2 different browsers at the same time on the same device in Toastmasters International. That shouldn't be happening. So that's a security issue with TI. It's something that should be taken up later on, but that's not the focus of this session. So I check compatibility, and here it's fully compatible, like we'll see. It's coming up, hopefully. It's not coming up, so I'm going to close it. I'm going to come here again. I think I've got too many windows open. So I'm going to move on because this is not highlighted completely. I know why, because I'm still on a tool in my Internet Explorer. I need to close this. So I check compatibility, come here, click. Great. And sections of my website are not available. It's amazing. Going back to Basecamp, I log in as a member in Royal Roads. Do the test again. And now it's fully compatible. Thank you, my lord. 8 green ticks. I can move on. The next thing I should do is always remember that I have the tutorials and resources options available just next to check compatibility up there. So if I click on it, I get to this window where I can see, if I scroll down and I increase the size, on the left here, I have tutorials, evaluation resources, project descriptions, resource documents, navigator, FAQs, glossary, and manager of the Basecamp. So these are items that it would be good to have a look at whenever we're in need. Look up here instead of going to the VP or the Basecamp manager whenever we have a question, or even before going in online groups on Facebook. Before I end this session, the crux of my presentation was to show you how to open a curriculum. I'm going to end with this. So at the bottom here, I've got navigating Basecamp, my education transcript, feedback, badges, and speech evaluations. I want to go here, my education transcript, to get access to the different paths and other items I have. So I clicked on it, and when I go down, I get those different items. If I just take a leaf out of Bertie's presentation, say I'm going to access the path effective coaching, all I have to do is just go to effective coaching. That's the path I have. I click open curriculum, and I get access to my path as well as the progress I've done so far. And I have here the level 1, level 2 have been completed, as you can see, level 1, level 2. I'm on level 3 right now. And at each level, you see the different projects have been ticked. If I go to level 3, this is what I have. I've done 1 project. I've got a couple of electives left. And that's it for me. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Krishn. Nicely done. Do we have any questions now? Let's see. Okay. Yes,
Michelle has one.
Michelle? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Rish. I just want to point out, maybe you can try it out when you have a chance. In Google settings, if you look for the pop-up blocker, you look for the pop-up blocker, and there's a section where it says block and allow. And in the part of allow, if you put the URL in to https toastmasters.csod.com, that should let you have all your green ticks also.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that powerful tip. I forgot to mention that. The reason I don't actually have activated pop-up blocker on my Chrome is I use my Chrome for my business and for work purposes. So I've got a lot of sites going on, so I block everything.
Okay,
but
this one would just be like an exclusion for pathways then, and the rest will remain blocked.
Thank you. It would be great if you could just post that in the chat if you have the time for other people to just have the link and they can use it. Thank you so much for adding value.
No mention. Bye.
Any other questions? Yes, Bertie.
Can we change our path? For example, we have chosen one path and then it turns out that we don't like it. Is there a way to change it? And if yes, how?
I think, Fabiola, you can correct me if I'm mistaken. From the date you have registered on a path, you have 30 days to change it?
Yes.
You have only 30 days.
That's true.
Yeah.
Julie, you have any other comments on this? Additional
30
comments?
days, 30 days to ask. But I believe it is better to buy a new pass, and you have two then, and can do both of them, then wait for the change to happen. Because some waited more than a month to have first changed.
So that's a nice tip that Julie is giving, because indeed, especially if you have gotten the first two for free, and you think you don't want to do this part, it's better to buy another one. Maybe later on you will come back to this one anyhow. So that is the idea behind it, to if you don't want it, to either change it or buy a new one. So with Julie's experiences, she says, okay, at times it's best to just buy a new one. One, you will get it quicker, because when doing all the administration to get a new one, and for buying a new one, you will get it as soon as the payment is received. So, and you might want to use it in the future anyhow. So, but it's your choice. Bruce.
Fabiola, excuse me, in some of my other clubs, I've got people who have only one pass and have found out that they've selected the wrong one. I've had great difficulty finding out how to actually change it. I mean, what does one do to get it changed?
Okay.
You have to call or write to supply orders.
Call or write supply. Okay.
Call is faster, but not now when they are moving from California to Colorado. Is not a good time.
Yes, that's
true. And for Bertie, for example, 20 March to 20 April, depending when she bought hers, if the 30 days are gone from when she chooses, she cannot change it again. But you can change it once in a, if you got inside the 30 days, you can ask the change.
Great.
Supply orders.
Okay, great. Any other question? Okay, we are at the hour. We will going to go 1 hour and a half. So I will go through my part now, and if there is any more time, we can continue with question and answers. And for that, I am going to share my screen. And this last part is how submit awards. How we do that? How do we do that? When you complete a project, a level, or awards are 9, who or what does what? The member will be completing their project as it has been shown very clearly by Bertie and Krishn. Whenever you complete a project, you mark it as completed, and that part is your responsibility as a member. By completing that, you reopen another project. To complete the level, you have to do the complete assess skills after. There's when you complete the level. And at this point, what will happen is that you need to be very clear in which club you are assigned to in base camp. Again, I'm member of 2 or more clubs, and I'm doing my last project in the other club, but I want the Vice President Education to approve my level completion. By approving your level of completion, it will open the next level for you. So if you are asking the vice president education of one club, you need to be in that club, sign up, and also send an email to that VP education to let them know you have a request to approve a level completion. After that, you reopen your project in Basecamp, and no, if you have finished your assignment, it will take you to the last page where it says congratulations, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have completed your project in Basecamp. You need to do the assess your skill after, and that's when you are really completed your task. Okay. Um, okay. So for the completion of the level, you need to be sure which club you are at. So this is how you see it. You can always go back and launch whatever level or project you finish to get the information, but it will stay on launch. Okay. And the activate one is the one that will help you to complete your level, as I mentioned before. Okay. You will activate it, and then it will pop up mark complete, which all of them, that is how it will come up. And after marking complete, you are certain that that is when you have completed that part. Okay. So notify your vice president education, and the vice president education of all the clubs, the president and the secretary, they have access to the Basecamp, and they are the ones that will approve your level in order for you to go on to the next level. But project completion is you can advance through the levels to the project in one particular level. When to ensure in which club you are, you will find it here in your transcript. Before you go into your path, you will select the club. You will have the pull down here that will give you all the clubs that you are in. So always be sure to be selected the club that you will need your vice president education to approve your level, because they will only be able to see it in their Basecamp management if you are logged in that particular club. The Basecamp manager, which is the vice president education, the secretary or the president, will get this view. They will get pending requests. So they will go in here and look for your name and approve your level. For them also, this is where they can see your progress. And naturally, they have tutorials. For us in Firebirds Collective, these are two separate things in the sense that Easy Speak will mark all your presentations. And also, if you do a presentation outside of Firebirds Collective, you can always let us as VP Education know, so we can complete your listing of projects outside of the club in the Easy Speak for us to look at. So you can follow your progress in your Basecamp, but also in Easy Speak if you have feed us with all the projects that you have done outside of the club. So this is the view that the Basecamp manager will see, that they will find your name somewhere, and then they will approve your level. So member can know And this part is where also doesn't have it, it's not tied into the base camp, where the vice president education can register your completion of a level in TI website. That will stay the same. So it doesn't matter if the vice president education of Firebirds Collective approved your level. If you decide to give your other club the DCP point, even though that VPE didn't approve your last level, they can register your level at TI for the DCP point for that particular club. That is what Oladale was trying to say just now. And so the level has to be submitted in Basecamp. Okie doke. We have now 2 to 3 minutes questions for this part. Anyone has a question? Roberto, we cannot hear you clearly. Roberto is in a train following us now. Okay, I don't know if you are able to type it in, Roberto. Otherwise, you can always send me an email and ask me. Any other question? Because I didn't. Did anyone hear Roberto's question? Because I didn't. Okay. Does anyone else? Oh, yeah, Mathilde?
I did not hear it. I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
You said that there are always 2 passes free, or is this only for online clubs?
No, I said that 2 passes free only if you have 2 clubs, then the pathway arrives to you. When the pathway arrives to you at some, let's say in Europe, for example, if you are in 2 European clubs or 2 German clubs in the district, you get 2 passes. I don't know what will happen for all the onliners who have 2 or 3 clubs, if we will get free pass again or not.
That was the background of my question.
I'm afraid we will not get again, but we can try. Okay. Samir thinks that we will get some, so we will see.
Okay. Thank you. We cannot hear you, Fabiola.
Was your question answered? Yes? Okay, great. Yes, I'm also wondering if we will get a third one.
Hello, Fabiola.
Yes, Soledad.
Just to respond to that question, during one of our trainings, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
Very low, but continue.
Just to respond to that question, whether there is an opportunity to get as many as 3 paths for free. During one of our trainings with the World Headquarters, the weekly training for ambassadors and guides for pathways, it was mentioned that the maximum that World Headquarters can give you for free are 2 paths. So if you belong to as many as 3 clubs, 4 clubs, the maximum you can get for free are 2 paths.
Yeah.
2. Yes, 2, Julie. Yes, 2. You can't get more than 2 free paths.
Yeah, that's true. But I was wondering because the when Julie mentioned within a district, so that was my I know about the 2 because if you are a member of more than 3 clubs, indeed, it will say 2. That is clear. But because it is in another district, I was wondering what will happen. So, but I know indeed it is to maximum 2. Any other question? Is the base camp manager the VPE or someone else can play this role for the club? The base camp manager, all of us are in base camp, but the manager for clubs are the vice president education, the president, and the secretary. Any three of them can manage or approve levels of projects completed or level completion for members in whichever club they are. So for instance, if you are in dynamic club in wherever, and you did your speech in Firebirds Collective, I, as Vice President Education, because I'm also the base camp manager, can approve your level. The Vice President membership cannot do that. The Vice President PR cannot do that. Only the three of them. But what we do have now, if we are going to register that level with TI for the DCP point, as is now, any one of the 7 club executives can register at TI, not at the club level base camp, but at TI. Any one of the club executives can register your awards at TI. So that is the difference. For base camp, only the 3 executives, but for TI, all the ones that has been able to do it up to now. Any other question? Wow, so clear. For the panelists, do you have any other points that you would like to add that we have missed that people might need to know in order for them to be very comfortable to find their paths to be on 15th of May? Yes, Krishn.
There's one item, I think it was touched on by a couple of the questions. It's with regards to the evaluation forms that a speaker should send to the evaluator. At times, we have helpful evaluators who they will try to look for the evaluation forms themselves. It's always good to refer to evaluation resources under your pathways. You have the 5 blocks. One of them is evaluations. If you click on that, you have all the different evaluation forms that will be used by the current 10 path. So you can just go there and find the one that helps you. Good thing to note is they're in PDF format that you can fill in and save and send to the speaker. Or the speaker can just download it. If I'm commuting, my laptop is not with me, I just have my smartphone, I download it, and I send it to my evaluator, which I've done before.
Yes.
So it really helps.
And I really encourage everyone to get hold of the evaluation before the meeting, so you have a better view and a better understanding how to evaluate the members' project. Evaluations are personal, but with the new setup of the pathways, I find that it guides you as an evaluator to better give feedback on specific things for the member to improve on, or also to let the member know which part did work very well so they can continue to work on. I read today Mathilde's experience of finalizing her CC. Again, it's not her first, but she did say something. She said, this one is special because I took one, I think it was one topic, and she did, I think, all of her 10 projects with that topic, if I'm not mistaken, or most of it. And each time she improved on something. And I think that is inspired by also the way that the evaluations in pathways are now set up, that it gives you as an evaluator, but also as a speaker, to look at things that, you know, before that you would skip because the evaluations were so, at times, very generic. So that is very good for you to pay attention to the new way of evaluating. Julie?
Yes, I have to add that you do not have to upload evaluation in the Basecamp.
Yes.
Because if you upload them, it is only you will see them anyway. So I believe that the beginning that I have to put it there so the VP can see it.
Yeah.
I prove it. It is not true. No one can see than you. It is only for you. You can as well save it in your folder in computer or in Google documents or wherever you save your files instead of uploading it. And another thing, if you upload it, you have to change the name, because if you get a second pass, it will be the same name and you will not know which one which is, because there is only one level, one folder there for all the paths.
That's true, indeed. That's a good tip if you to add to it, that it's only you. You will use it in especially when you are doing like the project 2, where you have to do the same speech, or if you want to, and let either the same evaluator or another evaluator evaluate the same speech, then you will need for sure that evaluation for the second time around. So if you are, that's where you say, okay, that is the use of me to upload all my speeches, so I have them in that corner to access them easier. And so it depends on you. But uploading them, it's not for anybody else to see it. It's only for your own use. And yes, that's exactly. Roberto raised hands. Yes, Roberto, let me see if we can hear you now. Go ahead.
In the previous system, it was very useful to read the project before evaluating. How does it work with the new one?
The same way. That's why I encouraged everyone when they're going to do their, oh, you mean the whole project? What I have found out now, Roberto, and maybe the others can say that also if that's correct. The objectives on the evaluation sheets, if you send the correct one to the evaluator, that will help them a lot. Versus what we are usually in our current manuals, that we have to read the whole objectives of the whole manual to catch what to evaluate the person on. I have found that reading only the evaluation sheet objectives will help us to give a good evaluation on the project presented that moment. Bruce has done this lately with the speech of Aladale, and I think, Bruce, you only got the evaluation sheets, correct? Yes. So maybe, yeah, Mathilde or Julie. Krishn. Yes, go ahead, Krishn.
There's something that is quite specific with the Pathways evaluation sheet. I heard about this when I was attending a workshop done by the VP of Railroads. What she shared, and I believe she's right. If we look at the scores in for each criterion under the evaluation sheet, we are supposed as evaluators to rate a speaker from on the scale of 1 to 5. Like 1 is challenge yourself and 5 excels. And I've seen some of the evaluation forms I get from as a speaker, and for some items I get 4 and I get even 5. And when I look at free, I'm expecting free because free itself it says accomplished. I believe I've accomplished at something. I'm not native English speaker. It's my third language. and I'm given 5 in like 6 of the 10 items. I'm either wow or the other person doesn't know what they're doing. And I believe we have to be very careful, especially since we're an advanced club. Why I joined an advanced club like Firebirds is to get that growth that I don't get at a normal club. So when we evaluate, be aware that free, if you give the speaker free, wow, that's good enough. And if the speaker deserves a 4 or a 5, give, but justify why. If you're giving less as well, justify why. And it's good to have that conversation, that chat with the speaker before and after the speech. That's very important.
Very good point. Indeed, not just choose one figure, but really also give some comment that will help the speaker. Mathilde.
There's also a special field behind it where you can give some explanation for your score. And
Yes.
I find this is also very good. Above, in the top of the evaluation sheet, you can give more of, you can write more, because the field behind these points is limited to special, yeah, they are limited.
Yes, that's true. But you can always connect with the speaker. And also, when we all are on pathways, you can always send an extra evaluation. Even if you're not the evaluator of the person, I encourage you to send pointers to that person if you want to. As an advanced club, we need to help each other to better ourselves. Bruce?
It's worth remembering that because it's a PDF document, if there's not enough space at any point on the evaluation sheet to write things out, I found sometimes I had to reword things to get it in. You can just insert a text field at the end of the document, and some little indication, a 1 or an asterisk or something, go to that. So you can actually write as much as you like at the end of an evaluation sheet. And I believe we should be doing that, because some of those little fields next to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are quite small, and you can't really say much in those. Yeah.
That's okay. We will go to Julie. Julia can raise her hand first. Julie, no?
Roberto has been raising his hand for a long time.
No, he got it.
Okay, all right.
Krishn?
Just spinning off from what Bruce said, I tend to write a lot of things for my speaker, and I got this experience where one speaker didn't want so much. That person only wanted in the little fonts. So the lesson here is ask the speaker, what do they want? Do they want only the ratings, or you want as much as I can give? That's what I wanted to share.
Okay. Okay, just to make sure, Roberto, your question was answered, correct?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. All right, and we are at 1 hour, 30 minutes. We'll give Julie the last part, and then, yes, Julie, go ahead.
No, Bertie wanted to ask something.
I didn't see that. Thank you, Julie. Bertie.
Can I just get a clarification once again whether about the differences between using an online material or a manual that you can buy? What if, for example, what if someone doesn't have a printer and that person is a member of a brick club that he or she has to attend? Is it better for that person to buy the manual? How do you do that? Huh?
It is. I will tell you if you want. If you buy a printed manual, all the 27 choices are forbidden for you. You get 2 or 4 which are decided by headquarters, and that is everything you get and no choice. So in any kind of club, a printed manual is not recommended.
And the statistics say that
you can print every project if you want, every level if you want, every path, and then you have a printed manual without paying for printed and choice.
Yeah. And the other thing is you can download you can download the project, so you can read it on your tablet or your computer if you don't want to print it. But the best thing is to order the online version versus the printed matter, because your limitation that you have to choose. And in a club, especially brick and mortar, if you have an online version, you can always see if the Vice President Education can help you with a specific part that that you will be needing in print. So, and again, also the printed version, you don't get the videos to look at, and that is a pity. So, and the statistics say that despite a lot of hesitation on Pathways being an online activity, up to now, less than 10%, I think, has chosen to go for the printed material. Okay, and with this, I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for being here and get all this information. For me, it's also, and I think all of us as Pathway Guides and Ambassador, it helps us when we get all these questions to help us also to continue to serve and answer questions from those that we need to get the information to. So this session is recorded, so you can always go back and see and re-listen to it. And by this, I will stop the recording.